episode is going to be about the recent school shooting that happened in Florida, and we're going to discuss the debate between if the cause of the shooting was because of the suspect and him being bullied in the past, or if it's due to the gun regulations. Let's find out. So you heard about the recent Florida shooting, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you feel about it?
Um, it's obviously very sad. I feel for those people. It sucks. I have family members that live by there, so they feel it even more. They're like the town over, and I think it really says something that needs to be done in our country. Um,
Would you say that something needs to be done with the gun regulation?
yes, I would say. I think it's gonna be very hard to completely ban guns
Right.
because there's so many. It's almost part of our culture and our history. So it's gonna be hard to ban them, but something needs to be done to regulate them and control whose hands they go into.
Okay, so how do you perceive the shooter? Because did
Um,
you hear about like his being bullied in the
Right.
past?
So at that point, I think kids in high school, if kids in high school know that this kid, and they realize that nobody was surprised almost.
Right.
So if nobody in high school, and like kids up that are a few years younger than us, weren't surprised, then how did this kid get a gun in the first place?
Right.
Right. Like everyone else saw it coming, and he still somehow was able to legally buy guns. So
Which
I think
is
something needs to be done there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay, so you guys have recently heard about the recent school shooting in Florida, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, how do you both feel about that?
I think it's, horrible and a horrific experience.
Okay.
Obviously, being a student at a university where something like this can happen, it's kind of unsettling.
Yeah, I agree. So can you guys tell me how you perceive the shooter? You guys heard about how like they think it's because how he's been bullied in his past, and that's why he's done this and stuff like that. Like, what do you think about that?
Well, I think whatever the case, there are a lot of issues that can lead to someone doing something like that, and I think we need to have a lot of available resources for those. If it was in a case of bullying, then I think we need to have more available resources to prevent bullying and help those who are going through it, and we need to be more open about, I don't know, I'm unfamiliar about if he had any mental illnesses or anything, but
I think they said that he does.
if he did, or anyone that has mental illness, we need to be more accepting of, and willing to give them the help that they need and anything.
Okay, and what about you?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of issues. He was in a foster home, bouncing around from home to home, and there were signs that maybe he wouldn't have gone that far with shooting a school, but there were signs that he was troubled, and obviously the bullying is always a terrible issue to deal with, especially letting it escalate that far
Right.
to push someone to do such a thing. Again, I don't think there's adequate resources to help with mental illnesses of any sort, and I think maybe it could have been prevented if there were.
Okay. And so, how would you guys feel about gun regulation? Did you hear about how the students are protesting right now? They met up with Trump and said like they need to fix the gun control laws.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel about that?
Well, I think that the answer's not getting rid of guns. I think the answer's more, we need to figure out a better way of what guns are released to the public. I don't think anyone needs a semi-automatic
Yeah.
rifle. If you're hunting or anything, or protect yourself, you don't need a weapon that can do such
Damage.
mass amount of damage. You just, we need to limit what kind of guns are released to the public, and we need to better. I know it's some people say like it's already not easy to get a gun, but I think we do need to be more careful about when and who we give the guns to.
Okay. And how do you feel?
I'd agree with that. Right now, I have friends who are applying for their pistol permits. It takes them anywhere from 6 months to a year even, and that's just in the state of New York. I know it's harder in other places that are more liberal and have more stringent gun laws, but it should not be that easy to obtain an AR-15.
Exactly.
They can get the day of and then carry out whatever attack they're planning that day. And I feel like there's not enough background checks, regulations, and it's way too easy. If you're gonna make a gun easy to get, have it be a pistol or something that's more concealable that more people can have access to, and more training is available with that rather than the semi-automatic gun, which was built for an army's use.
Right.
We need to also have like better training. I think we need better training for if you're gonna get a gun, you should be trained on how to use it better, because I feel like a lot of times I don't know I don't really have a lot of knowledge about guns, but I feel like there's not enough training that
Right.
goes
It's
into it
kind of
before.
like anybody can just have it and use
Yeah.
it however.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, thank you for your time, guys. So, hi, Obi.
Hi,
So,
Essence.
you've heard of the recent school shooting in Florida, right?
Oh, yes, I have.
Okay, so how do you feel about the shooting?
It's just a shooting.
It's just a shooting?
Yeah, it's
You
just
don't
a shooting.
sympathize for the people who have passed?
Obviously, I do, but I feel like there are the more crazy thing happen in this world than just exposing one tiny thing. I mean, if you look at the world on a bigger scale, it's just a shooting.
Okay, so you're
But-
saying that there's been more traumatic things that's happened than a school shooting?
I'm saying that I feel like it's a distraction from the real problem that's happening in the world.
Okay, okay.
Or not even in the world, in America. It's just a distraction. And I feel like we, as Americans, should like. I don't even have the answer to this, but my gut feeling tells me it's a distraction, like every other news media and news propaganda out there. It's always
Okay.
a distraction
Okay.
from something.
Okay, so you know how they're saying that the cause may be because he has been through a hard life and that he's been bullied. Would you say that's an excuse as to why he shot up the school?
Everyone's been through a hard life. You don't see me gunning up UB,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know what to say anymore because it's always a repeated cycle. It's always a repeated cycle with a school shooting.
Right.
They pull up a guy's past. You get to find out he got some psychological problem. Blah blah blah. Blah. Then you have access to the gun. It's always a repeated cycle. And every time something like this happens, when you look behind closed doors, you always find some dumb shit happening behind closed door.
Okay. Okay, so what do you think is the resolution?
To this,
Yes,
a
like,
resolution to this. I feel like I really do. I deeply sympathize with the people that have lost their life. I do, because that's a human life. Those are human lives we just lost. I
Right.
sympathize heavily, and it sucks that their life have to be paid just so that we can be distracted from what's really going on.
okay. So would you say that gun regulation needs to be controlled, like needs to be fixed?
It's so funny about gun regulation because I don't know. I don't have the answer to this.
No?
As in, it's hard as fuck to get it right now.
Can you watch your mouth,
Oh,
please?
oh. It's hard to get it right now. With
Okay.
gun control. No, it's hard to get it right now, like guns. But I do feel like I'll be honest. I'm in a guy that thinks that guns are just tools, and it's all based on how you use it
Okay,
that matters.
okay.
And I want to go back to see how the person got the gun, what happened. Like, we trace the entire step to find out what was the problem in that span of time before he got to shooting, so we can actually fix that problem in that one little
Okay,
area.
okay. So, do you have anything else you want to say about the situation?
About the situation, live your life, everyone.
Okay,
Live your life.
thank you.
Hi, how y'all doing?
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Okay, so you guys have heard about this school shooting in Florida, correct?
Without a doubt.
Right. Okay, so how do you feel about the shooting?
It was really tragic. The big surprise to me was for it to happen on Valentine's Day. I felt that's what really would help a lot of people, because Valentine's Day, a day of love and stuff like that. For something like that to happen, it was very traumatizing.
What about you?
I feel like a lot of innocent students were killed that day. I mean, that's people's daughters and people's sons. And, I know they just expected to go to school and just learn that day. They didn't expect to be dealing with people shooting up the school and things like that. And I feel like that situations like this, it should be a way to avoid them.
I agree. So, you heard how they say that the cause of the shooting and the suspect doing it may be because he's been bullied in the past and had a traumatic life growing up. Would you say that's an excuse as to why he did what he did?
Not at all. I feel like everybody been bullied in the past, and if you've been in school or whatever, you didn't been bullied by someone or you didn't been through something. So just because somebody go through something don't mean give them an excuse to go shoot up a whole school. So I mean, everybody, the whole world, no matter who you are, you go through different things every day. Everybody go through traumatizing stuff with family or whatever it may be. So just because you going through something don't give you an excuse to shoot up a school. So.
Absolutely.
I just agree with what he said.
You disagree?
I said I just agree.
Oh, okay.
It's a lot of people that had troubled childhoods and things like that. That's probably 10 times worse than what the guy actually went through. But you don't see them out there doing this kind of things. So, yeah.
Okay, so would you say that gun regulation needs to be controlled, like gun control? There needs to be better gun control?
Yeah, without a doubt. I feel like some people who get their hands on guns have no business with guns in their hands, and some people who have guns don't know what they're doing. So I feel like it definitely needs to be enforced more.
Okay, and what about you?
The same. I feel like guns should be regulated, and it should be like more strict on who can actually purchase a gun and things like that. I seen something online that said most school shootings are used with an AR-15, so we should definitely do something about that. So yeah.
Okay, so what do you think the resolution is to school shootings?
The resolution would be, obviously the schools need to stay more safe. So things like security at the front door, things like that to secure the safety of the children. I mean, it's kids who their mom and dad send them to school in the morning. They got to worry about them getting shot up. So just making the school more safe for the students, really.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know what type of school this was, but my high school, security was real big. Every student that came in had to go through a metal detector and things like that. So yeah, they definitely got to crack down on security because kids come to school to learn. It's just so tragic that they got to.
They shouldn't have to worry about.
Yeah, they
losing
shouldn't have
their
to worry
lives.
about losing their life trying to go to school and better their future.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Hi, Ass.
Okay, so you recently heard about the recent school shooting in Florida, right?
I have.
Okay, how do you feel about it?
I feel that it's definitely a tragedy, but I feel that the media is putting out too many excuses for his actions instead of paying attention to what the real problems are, which are gun control laws. And I definitely think that there needs to be more resources for people who do have mental illnesses.
Okay, so in the news it's saying that the boy was very traumatized as a child and that he went through bullying and all of that. So do you believe that's an excuse for what he did?
I definitely think that it is an excuse, especially looking at the media aspect of it. A lot of times when people of color have committed crimes, they never, not to say that they deserve leeway, but it's just like, it's a black person, so it's expected. As soon as it is a white counterpart, there's this excuse and this excuse. He was orphaned, foster care, had a bad life and stuff like that. We all go through things. So I definitely do think that isn't an excuse, and it's just like taking away from his actions, which were so tragic and so severe. And you took 17 lives from people's families, and that's inexcusable to me.
Yeah, I agree. So what do you think is the resolution? Do you believe that gun control needs to be improved?
Yes, and I don't think that guns need to be banned, but I think that they need to be stricter. There's no reason that a teenager should be able to buy an assault rifle or a semi-automatic, whatever he was using, and it just needs to be stricter because he can't even buy alcohol, but he can buy a gun, and you're not questioning what he's using it for. But if a person of color was to walk in and be like, "Oh, I need a gun," it's not going to be that easy, and it's not even always about. It doesn't even have to be about race. It's just like, what does this teenager need that type of gun for?
Exactly. Okay, so what do you think the resolution is? Well, you just, like you said, making gun control more stricter. Anything else?
Right now, I don't think that there's a resolution because I feel that in society there's too much lack of understanding for people. people don't care to understand each other, and there's just no sense of community at all. So I just don't think that there's a resolution right now. But what we can do is just, send out our prayers for the families. And as far as government roles, I think that we need to stop making excuses for people that look like us and start thinking about the bigger scale. Like, this is America, and as broken as we are, we need to start mending things instead of just continuing to let these tragedies happen and stuff like that, because there's worse things going on. So if we need to make something safe, this is supposed to be the greatest nation in the world. It's not right now, so there's not a solution right now, unfortunately.
Okay, thank you for your time. All of my interviews today, I'm getting mixed responses from everyone. I have people who agree that bullying may be the cause as to what happened, but then I have people who believe that weak gun control is what the problem is. But the common ground is that everybody does believe that gun control laws need to be stricter. Thank you.